pretty much just imagine that I haven't seen more stuff.
As they have been doing.
Fast split. Boaster's on his own, on an island, wall behind. Okay, gets out of there. There's a free site right now. That's nice. Two-person push behind. They're going to deal with a trip. They're going to deal with a camera.
In their defense, but luckily for them, they're on the attack.
They TP over the trip. No one has any idea he's going fast behind.
Right around the back of Yellow to take one down, but the flank from Dirk now finding its value. 2 kills without a captain down, damage done as well. Mr. Fallen clinging on to life.
Bro, he was so on top of the fact that there was a trip here. He pretty much did his TP here, ready for it. Came up close, confirmed it, took the TP. That was fast.
Dropped with the wall bang. Nice shot from Cracks. Nice jump up.
Still gonna lose the round. Oh boy.
He's tagged down to 35. Even having to reload the Sheriff. The spike in the open. A tough defuse ahead of him, and with Cracks landing
Cracks
his
is,
shot,
I mean,
there was no
that was nice. I was gonna say UTJ is so loud.
Starting out
Can hear him through the casters, Mike.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is a map that, for Fnatic, they've definitely been favoring. They've enjoyed picking this one. I actually thought it would be their first choice within the series, but
it was a nice try from
Fnatic.
He did good.
Slightly later, and even though it didn't
Cracks
quite
is just
go
a
well on
beast.
Icebox, they definitely performed to a decent standard. This one was a little bit more awkward when they played it versus Heretics, though, but that was after a close-fought map of Lotus. You can be a little bit more forgiving.
Alpha gets a Sheriff and everyone buys up. We've got a Marshal and Outlaw. No one's got any armor, so everyone's one shot.
First contact, he's already seen Alpha.
They hear the Sheriff.
Might make things a little bit tougher. And in fact, he's going to have to fall back a little bit more.
FUT is quite dangerous with those marshals, but the ranged fight for Yetije is the one to open it up. Dirk are getting a little bit aggressive, peeking out on B. Second player following up, it's Alfier, but no element of surprise available, with the trap waiting for him to do just that. Even the push-up here, I don't expect FUT to go back towards this angle if they do push B.
They honestly might go back.
It's more likely that they decide to just cross this and take it up towards the site from mid. One player spotted already.
The recon goes A though, no one shot the recon, so they know A main's clear. That makes it an easy call.
The utility from Leo, but I believe they will have heard.
I didn't go far enough as well.
I mean, they should know. The flash is decent. The jump up. Oh, a lot of shots hit there, a lot of damage dealt, but no deaths just yet for the side of FUT.
No, it's left all onto Alpha. Had that Sheriff from the beginning.
30 seconds left.
They spotted him around mid and B, so you can see CNED already being careful. And I don't even know if he'll necessarily clear this position. In fact, he's just going to walk straight into the open arms of CNED.
And they get the plant on top at a 3 away. It's a solid bonus at the moment. Good money.
Everything into this next round. The only question I actually have about their buy is, will they actually upgrade that Marshal? And I assume not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Successful.
I mean, softening up those players for the Bulldog, Outlaw in play as well. That's the only thing that might push them.
Bro goes for the headshot there.
Upgrade to change, or even just to buy a backup pistol.
Is this not insanely bold?
On the Fnatic side, low shields, I should say.
Hearing the Outlaw getting killed by the last death,
in the hands
and then going for 3 light armors.
A lot of the time hit the headshot anyway.
Like, why would you not be buying Guardians here?
You always have to be fearful. For Fnatic, a much more passive start. Now, a lot of the time on this map, you're going to see aggressive pushes from Durka, but for now, he sat back with...
Oh, let's see if it matters.
Already going for a peek, and CNED taking that
What
contact.
the hell are you doing?
He's gone through.
Oh my god, he's winning the round.
After cap thrown. They know that he's here. They don't know about anyone else, though. The drop down from Cracks, heard, shot landed on the Ada Captain elsewhere as Alpha falls. The second player response strikes.
And it's one of the people that could get one shot.
Even in this round already, the damage has been done, and CNED's got a rifle.
That is the round right there.
Take a turn for the worst.
CNED relax yourself.
Is perfect. They know that the decoy was not the real one.
CNED.
89
Oh my
HP
god.
total for CNED. Cloud burst down. The spray, hopefully, not a sign of what's to come.
Last reposition from him. Hey, shout out to Durka. Big 1v2 from him. I didn't like how they played the 1v2 though. It felt like they really just wanted to duel. It felt like the communication of these two could have been way better. How they wanted to play it.
Probably not what they were hoping for.
Muted House. Dude, 23 months as well. Muted. Thank you so much for that, man.
Durka as well.
One away from 2 years.
Matches when they played versus, I believe it was Na'Vi, was just unstoppable. So if he can get rolling early, we already saw it on the first map of Icebox with 29 kills to his name.
Nice, Durka. Let's go!
Such a delayed reaction as well. Nice, Durka. Let's go!
I love the fact that I feel like that is the least intimidating.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Like he's standing up, and
he knows.
It's not even. It's nothing to do with anything other than just how he is as a person in general. It's like he's too busy giggling at the fact that he's doing it.
Wait, is it his
Technical
PC?
pause,
Did he mess something up by standing?
Definitely not ideal.
No, it's Leo's
But
mouse.
they're going to be fairly happy with the way that round went, even though it slipped away from them in the 1 versus 2. Still going to be able to come back in with pretty much a 4-buy, even keeping the Outlaw as an option. It's not even something that they necessarily needed to bring in based on finances. They can afford to buy full rifles. They've just decided to throw that weapon into play. And especially when only one player survived, that's a perfectly logical thing to think. It's like, okay, most of the players on the other side are not going to be able to afford to have their full shields. This is, again, an operator.
Well, just for you guys to know, a little peripheral issue down on the stage. Shouldn't be long before we get those ones ironed out. I think Alpha's even trying to step in and help out the admins. Maybe he's seen this one before. But when we dive back into things in round 4, you know, really do got to keep your eye on Durka. Like you said, he's been one of the main focal points for this squad ever since that pistol on the A site where they had that little gap in the wall for him to play in many games ago. And his aggression, not just the way he can sit back, play these nasty angles and get out for free, but walking down tube, how much success he's had there. The decoys early, we saw it from Fnatic not long ago, where on the B site, you'll see him consistently putting the decoy out as an early fake push, and it gets them a ton of information. I love how they use the Yoru on this map.
Jesus, man, it's a zoom on it.
Closer.
Jesus.
You're going to bump him on the nose in a minute. Are we about to use his eye as a transition? That would be insane, but I think he's moved, unfortunately.
Oh, you've ruined it, Boaster. You've ruined it now.
See, they do say you're not allowed to talk during tech pauses, but they didn't say anything about singing.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, of course, the admins can hear him the whole time as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
They just get a little serenade.
Nonetheless, 2-1. Here we go again. You got to be really still.
Don't move. Don't move. We've almost got it.
Definitely don't blink. We're getting a boasted staring contest. There we go. Oh, okay. So now we know what he's thinking about. It's Mr. Fallen.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. He's daydreaming.
Guys get muted in tech pauses? No, they're just told to not speak. So that's pretty much the rule.
And that's the thing. I feel like a map like Breeze, although one that has been massively successful for Fnatic, and one that actually FUT have somewhat erred on caution. Like, it's not been one they've picked. I do feel like it's just a map that, for CNED especially, if he gets off to the races, it's a map that just thrives around opening duels, around firefights. Yeah, Mr. Fallen doesn't seem quite as interested.
Can I skip forward, please? It didn't work like that, man. I wish it did.
Now he's looking across the stage, seeing if he can lip read any of the strats. They're muttering to themselves, oh, I'm thinking the A site's kind of weak. He'll pick up on it. He'll get that done.
The hand he is, yeah.
Leo's testing it out. I assume it's him. You can see he's been messing around with some cables. Never good to have a player like Leo without those peripherals.
What would happen if someone talks? I mean, majority of the time they tell you off, and then they'll say there'll be some kind of punishment, and the normal like punishment is you'll lose like a timeout or something.
Most
3 deaths.
Most deaths. Yeah, but to be honest, he doesn't normally get any deaths, just period. It's normally like maybe 8 maximum in an entire map.
That's like the one that they like to throw out there.
We'll see. Hopefully
anything else is normally too extreme.
Of a break, as both teams will want to get back in the server. We know that this one could go the difference, and again, for anybody who may have just joined us, what's on the line is a spot in the final, facing off against Team Heretics, a squad that has managed to already beat both of these squads and sits awaiting in the final. The winner of that game will be getting an advantage in Shanghai. A pretty big one at that.
Yeah.
Being able to skip that Swiss stage and then pick the opponent of the teams that manages to make it through. It's a huge advantage for those squads, and pretty much places you within that top 8. It's a big opportunity. Also 3 points on the line, which can help you towards your opportunities for champions and being later in the tournament. If you then win,
we're making a Shanghai tier list. Yeah, I'll do that at one point.
We've seen that from
do Shanghai tier list. We'll do top 10 or maybe top 15 players.
They didn't qualify for Shanghai because of the fact that they managed to win kickoff.
We've got a good amount of time. We've got like what, two weeks?
Neither of these teams have that opportunity, especially with KC being the ones that won
the incentive
kickoff, so
of buy to pick the opponents.
So
Reveal.
it could be a good chance to really level up that playing field. But I also just think
the incentive.
The main thing is going to be
buy
revenge.
to pick their opponents.
You don't want to go down to
after
Heretics. They are the new boys on the block.
I don't get it,
Most of them sat as rookies. So that's really going to be one of those things where you're going to want to get back. You're going to want to show them
thank you for the tier 1, man. Appreciate it.
Well, one of them made no changes other than coaching staff. The other only made a couple. In terms of the players.
Yes,
themselves.
Should be Jack.
Just heard word.
Pretty sure that's right.
Hansi escorted out of the building. It seems we're ready to go again. Tech issues subsided.
She's not even working today. Came in just to watch on a day off.
Just to cause chaos.
We've had to have her removed. That's a shame.
Well, I suspected this would happen at the start of the day, Tom.
Where are we on this? It was 1v. Okay. We've got 2 people that can buy next if they lose. One on each team. Giant rounds and...
Good weapon! What a shot from Durka!
Okay.
Saw the tip of Ada Captain's head and ripped it clean off.
I didn't even need to TP. That was almost just for a little bit of a flex at the end. That's also the spike. So it just makes things awkward that they're going to have to go all the way back to retrieve it. In the meantime, Yedajay's pushed up. Durka has been taken out in tube. That's at least a silver lining, but it's still a great start to the round, and it's just been improved that little bit more.
That it has. Chronicle the man getting the kill. Boaster and Leo both having light shields, and a headshot from CNED won't make that matter. But Mr. Fallen has a chance to clean up some of these remaining players' cracks. Way up close, looking for this fight. Tube control will be massive.
Guy in Chief's just like, wait, what the hell? Is literally a guy behind me?
To seize full control up. Shots don't land for Mr. Fallen.
Yeah, and after they try and retrieve the spike, yeah.
Are slipping. Hope is fading. This is the rotation from Mr. Fallen. Perhaps just at the right moment. He will have a face against Chronicle, but just one hit to the body is all he needs. He won't find it.
No, the fact is, they had a 3-pronged defense to that spike. The second it went down, I mean,
Fnatic would take that 3 people that don't have to rebuy armor.
Throughout the entirety of this round, and now for Cracks, it's
10 seconds left.
A little bit bleak. After what was such a great round in the last, an opportunity to go 3-0 up, win your bonus. The fact that the spike
you think teams having a bye and a chance to pick your opponents at Shanghai is enough for teams to reveal strats and try harder in the lower grand finals of their region? Oh yeah, for sure. It's giant.
They didn't even have to use their ult.
You gotta also, so everyone's trying super hard just because you get so much for coming fast, and you might as well show everything right now because we got map pool change and no one knows what maps are going out, so you want to at least might as well show everything. You got a potential big patch as well, not just for maps but for agents. So everyone's going all in.
Quite the mixed buy.
There isn't, you know, last year there was like a little potential of luxury of being able to save strats. This year, everything is so close together that it's just not going to happen.
Also, how they're actually going to be able to set him up, and he's immediately
it's
moved all the way back towards mid.
it's too punishing.
Just to get him that blade storm. Everything else,
you gotta win. There's not enough games really
Mr. Fallen is the one with the
to win everything.
So it does still steam like the plan is to go towards this A side.
Yeah, the fact that there's some big changes coming in, might as well show everything.
There's a danger that he gets pushed, but the mid push in response from
it's a big reward as well. It's not even the fact that you skip groups, it's the fact that you can actually have a bit of time to change. Dude, that's some nice movement. Shout out to Chronicle for getting the kill.
And dealt with by Cracks, but the damage is done. Fnatic have the advantage to work with, and Yedajay taken out very quickly indeed. Cracks follows, and it's only Ada Captain with 3 kills for Alpha already. He won't get a chance to find any more. Leo swings in to close out the round for Fnatic.
Yeah, big stuff from Alpha once again. He's got off to a flying start, top of the board for the squad, but I almost feel like Cena he wanted to keep the knives. Whereas a right click there would have just got him that immediate opener. Would have allowed him to pick up the rifle and yeah, maybe that round turns around, but instead with Chronicle becoming the focal point. Alpha Year is just given free roam to clean up the mess.
The hell is this?
Still, that was just a round based off a...
Oh, they added to it.
weaker piece of weaponry. Immediate dimensional drift from Durka.
Recon that lands in spawn. Yeah, and it's that strat that apparently they made up on the fly that they use every single time they have a Yoro ult.
It's not like he has a choice. Look where his gate crash was. In towards the window. Cracks.
Yeah, and they've just shown that too many times, man.
But one man has stopped them. With Boaster down, it seems the A site is free.
It's meant to punish people that are in this area.
For Fnatic. They're over on the B site.
With people dueling here and here.
Sitting together with rifles.
They need to come up with some new stuff. It's nice and easy for FUT, right? Think of when you're doing anti. So one of the easiest things to do in anti is you just get every single ult round, right? So you get like, well, let's say there's 5 ult rounds, and then you just look at all of them, and then if there's ones that are off the bat that are all the same, but the others wait a certain amount of time, you just combine these 3, and you just know first 10 seconds we wait for this ult. Wait for this ult, just have an anti around it, everyone plays, you show it to your team, you tell them the anti of where you want to be, how you want them to react, and then it's just a free round. And I'm pretty sure that it maybe isn't 5 ults, I don't know how many it is, but that's the only time they use this Yoro ult aggro.
And as the time comes to a close in this round, the push will come through. Leo finds
Fnatic are normally good. Fnatic are normally one of the better teams that cover this up, right? They normally have like 3 ults. That are per round, like per half, per ult. 3 things that they can do with it, and then they obviously do stuff off the fly as well. But this one's a bit too much.
Being able to make things work.
Why do so many players have chewing gum? It's like there was a research about it, right? That it affects your concentrations better with it.
It's like with him not finding anything, I think even just a little bit more disruption, and you see the rest of the team being able to get into position, but it just wasn't quite enough.
It makes your focus better.
3-3. Scoreline.
Is it though? I don't know, man. I didn't do the paper on it, but apparently so.
Not quite quick enough on the exit strategy.
You might not think there's anyone on door. You know what? Why would they not be swinging to help out Durka in that fight? Chronicle good for one, but the problem is that body can be res. Leo trying to go up and above the utility, catch an angle where he can spray down that res. He's found it, but
had a chance to win the rounds. They've been very proactive on the defense. I like it.
Caught in the back by Mr. Fallen. The sight push. Cage triggered. You had 2 players coming through. The double doors drawing his eye. Oh, what? Well, Mr. Fallen was revealed, but you'd be
he tanked him down. So heavy. And we're going to have a save, so we're going to be waiting for a while. And is anyone going to be hunting? They honestly might hunt.
The finances for the next round.
So everyone, yeah, he's the one that actually needs to save. Everyone else can buy. I think if you're FUT, you'll just save. I think you'll be okay saving this.
1 versus 2, but instead, it will just be the holding onto of that gun. And again, it's a similar stance. We've seen this a lot from Durka. He is going to be aggressive. He is going to be irritating, try and take those fights around the map.
Even if it's just a placebo as well. Yeah,
and it's more so credit to FUT. I think that's what has to be done. The trade was immediate. It was so quick. And then from then onwards, you can understand, like, Leo, he's trying to deny them getting the res, deny them getting that advantage.
Astra needs to have regen stars. Ice, I hope you don't join the Riot squad, man. You got some crazy ideas out here. Chat, stop trying to stop wanting to buff agents that don't need buffs.
Look at some of the more successful recent matches versus Na'Vi.
Lena_red with the prime. Thank you very much, dude. Thank you.
On that attacker side, and we only really have the 1 game.
You're joking? All right, I'll let you off then.
Versus KC. They did a lot more on the defensive side, but a lot of that was massively
Lena, thank you again. Appreciate the prime. Thank you for doing that.
Pushes. I think Fnatic should be ready for that.
Viper needs a second wall. Okay, now we're talking.
Given any map,
just as we got her into a good position. Completely make her busted. Right, what are we gonna do? Silver ult.
Much more passive.
Air ult.
A different Viper wall over on the A site previously.
You got good ults to retake.
Into main, this time from the site all the way across middle. This is the one that they've used before to get Durka down on mid. Down on 2, rather. Although usually a bit of a deep push coming in towards the B site, though, leaves Viper with only the orb to work with. No wall, but Alpha Year backing him up. Alpha Year no longer backing him up. Dealt with quite quickly, in fact, and Leo is hung out to dry.
Yeah, that's the site is probably the round, but that's a nice trade back. Aid looks decent.
Put him back into a 2v2.
They have any idea
is still quite
that
far
Atta
away.
took spawn.
And normally this flank would be massively valuable, but nobody
Yeah, because they have spawn
currently
control.
in a
You just
position
imagine
he'll
that
be able
this
to
is
spot unless we
so
see the walkout.
likely.
It looks like Yedoje just wants to try and join up with his teammates. Instead, he's going to peek at the perfect time.
Well, that's
Durka with
devastating.
utility in hand. It gives at least a little inkling as to where
Whoa.
the players are. Chronicle had a chance. Not quite
Yeah,
quick
they
enough
gave
this time.
him a chance.
There's a world,
And
many other
I'm
worlds, in
pretty
fact,
sure
where he lands
Fnatic
that
goes down
shot.
to an eco from this.
But for FUT, they can breathe a sigh of relief. They are going to have themselves their fifth.
Well, I mean, Durka got quite unlucky, all things considered. I guess I'd say Boaster did too. He was tucked in that corner, and before, if I'm correct, before they even saw him, before they knew he was there was a nade and a shock dart coming his way.
I think he got pinged.
Did he?
I think
Okay,
he got
that
pinged a
makes
little
sense.
earlier and then aggressed.
Because that would be a lot of utility to throw in. Maybe he's in that corner. But yeah, he got bombarded with util. And then, well,
Okay,
even
so
more so with the reveal
they
right
take a
before it.
bit of a
FUT,
hit. Everyone
5
gets light
rounds on the
armor
board,
apart from
little bit of
Leo,
momentum swinging their
which
way.
is why
Still
Mr.
that
Fallon
weapon on
buys
Mr. Fall,
this,
he loves the
and they
outlaw.
force into
Well,
it,
Mr. Fall,
and
great
they
push
are
from
sending
Durka.
it all in. They
Get out of
understand
here
how
for
big
free.
this is.
He might not
All
want to.
into swing. That
He's
was
here to
nice,
fight
dude.
with
He's
them,
so
and now
good
they
at getting
concede
extra
mid-control
random
and have a
pings.
two-man advantage for late round.
Yeah, this has been where
Yeah,
a lot of the
just-
effectiveness from FUT has come out. These mid
Or he might be in the cubby.
Well, the fact that they had the Hunter's Fury ready after contact just to disrupt, make things more awkward for the players on FUT, and even then Chronicle just swinging. As we said before, like you noted it when he was there the last time, not really taking that contact. Now, though, this is just based on individuals. One player on one side, one on the other. For CNED, probably hoping that would have been a little bit cleaner, and Leo, if he takes steps just a little bit further, he might be given a freebie. That's exactly what happens. Spike on the deck. 4 players, CNED on 30 HP, and he was given a tiny little... I thought for a second that was Leo jumping down, which wouldn't have even surprised me that much, but no, just the recon.
Let's see, 30 seconds to try save this.
Would have been on brand.
30 seconds left.
CNED's out of here. 30 HP. 1 versus 4. No real chance to take this one across the line. Response right away from the side of Fnatic. And this mid control that we've seen attempted a couple of times and not so successfully. Now it has that little bit of a bite to it. And I think you see what we're
Is
talking
there
about.
a bad agent I would like to see reworked?
2 or 3 rounds ago, where Dirk is out on
I would
mid,
be fine. I'd be
that
fine
fight,
with a
and
Viper
Chronicle's close on the
rework.
door,
I
but
hate Viper at the
pacing was just
moment.
a little bit off,
I
as far
really
as
hate
both of them
Viper.
peaking. This time, they're both ready to fight, and the result is
Well, I think
much better.
I think as well, just having that Hunter's Fury, it just makes things
I'm just
impossible.
sick of it.
Because FUT are basically trying to dodge that utility while then having players shoot at them. So it was a much cleaner opportunity for Chronicle to swing. Whereas the last time it was much more like, okay, I just expect Durka to leave. I don't expect him to stick around. 5-4. Hunter's Fury is still available. It has been for a few rounds. I was expecting maybe some sort of B execution. A lot of the time, that's where you have your solo Sentinel playing. Not in this round. Can be used for an opener, but it doesn't seem like they're interested. It really just has been this outlaw time and time again. A bit of a money maker, or money saver, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they've just looked into the fact that Fnatic like to buy a lot of light armors.
With giving guns over
Even
to
with
other
the outlaw
players.
being here, they've been looking into teams, seeing if they can get away with
it.
it.
He was the top-rated player in playoffs, so if he's generous at the same time, you don't get a much better teammate than that.
It is one of my favorite aspects of this weapon that I think underutilized by some teams.
Not this
As you
trip
said,
again.
It's not a one-glove-fits-all kind of deal. Seen this trap before,
Yeah.
as well. On the idea here being to catch the jet dash out. I don't think it was successful last time for Alphier, but the idea is there. And at some
Trip
point,
might actually get one.
someone's falling for it. Alphier will be baiting in this round with Durka tucked up close in the corner.
How long does this
Second,
TP have? I'm just going to
decide
highlight
dive
it, because
out.
they might
CNED
end
goes in.
when this
He'll
is
either
still
go into
on.
the trap and meet an immediate demise, or that
Okay,
crossfire will come
he
into
has
full
no
effect
TP anymore.
afterwards.
Darker is
See
full
which one of the
committed.
two it is.
Last time we saw this, it didn't quite connect. Pop flash is good, and well, it hasn't worked out for Durka. The flash just left Alpha without really any semblance of hope to help his teammate, and they were very ready for that close angle to be held. For Leo, he's got to hope he can find something with the shock dart. It hasn't done any damage this time, and just look at the
Well,
crazy.
now what you do?
he's still
just
so
a
far
done
back
rounds.
that if they get anywhere near this
UTJ's
site,
gonna late
he
lurk
can
on him
find
as
them.
well.
But more importantly, if they try and exit this site, he's ready and waiting as well.
Has that trip ever worked? I think both times we've seen it. I think both times we've seen this trip. And I've only seen it twice when they bring it out. So we've seen a similar setup, and I think both times Alpha's dueled before he gets a chance. He's just trying to trade off his teammate, so it's not like he's doing the wrong thing.
Foot in. Leave them with no choice but to die to the spike or to take a fight they're unlikely to win. Leo's on 10.
It doesn't matter too much, money's still good from FUT.
Steps marching towards him, he realizes it's not worth boxing them in anymore. That's a fight that they would win, and so they back off, set up for potentially a late punish.
Wait.
In fact, it's Chronicle to be punished in the corner. Well, it will not be clear.
Is that a right
Leo
click?
carries a rifle forward, but again, the cost is great.
Yeah, FUT as well have really started to come alive in this map. 4 of the last 5 rounds. Economy doesn't really reflect that, so a lot of them have been incredibly costly, but I think Fnatic realizing now that, okay, even though we definitely have the faith... What? He was half HP, but... yeah. Yeah, that was just absurd.
That is.
But this is where they need to at least
Wait,
try and get those
how-
last couple of rounds.
how much
I
HP
think
was
they've
he
been
on?
able to deny once or twice.
With just
those
one
mid
bullet
presses,
hitting the
but
head, right?
The fact is, FUT have been so good at just trading off a lot of
Who's
these
fighting?
battles.
Okay.
And even if they don't, some of their site executes as well. That was so clean. Again, it is always credit to Cracks.
How good is my
because
lore knowledge?
not
Awful,
only is
bro.
he
I couldn't
13
care
and 5,
less.
But that pop flash was just disgusting. I don't think he gets his roses for that flash. It doesn't show up.
They're
in a
all
lot of
just
cases on the
they're all
scoreboard,
just
but
chess pieces to me.
Durka was just completely blinded, stuck back, and it also meant
I don't care
that
about
there
their
was
history,
nothing
man.
that Alpha could do to actually help him. Made that take incredibly easy.
That's why it's so easy to pick a favorite between a Sky and a KO comp. We're talking about FUT, the KO every time. Cracks his utility. This is the map as well, where his utility typically is just miles above everybody else.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for the translation, because I saw that earlier and I had absolutely no idea what it said, but awesome.
But yeah, I think for Cracks, he gives a lot of credit for all of his KO utility.
I know that a lot
on
of
this
people
map.
do though.
Two guys,
It's cool for them, but I've not been much of a dude.
and all the work that
I'm not
they
much
put
of a
in,
one-player
but
game,
his
and that
delivery is perfect every
that's like
single time.
that's too much one-player vibes for
It
me.
is attempt 10 from Mr. Farlin of playing. Well, okay, actually, maybe 9.
Yeah, I don't want story modes, man.
The thing is, it does mean that walking up has incredible
But people
amounts
do,
of
and that's
risk.
cool.
Durka, I don't believe has the ability to get out of there, but they actually use the snake bite just to try and make things a bit more awkward. He will now place the utility to escape, but instead
This is
goes for-
insanely bold.
Mr. Farlin
Does have a TP to
gonna
get out of
have
here,
to-
right?
No
Yeah,
idea
TP
how
out.
close he's managed to get.
Huge. I mean,
This time
Mr.
Durka
Fallon's
will
just
get
not
up with
expecting
no
it because
response at
why would it
This is
happen?
why we caution that play.
I like this
Durka
though
has
from
done it
Fnatic.
quite
Like
a
they never
lot.
used to
Usually more
do this
aggressive
stuff.
walls, granted, but he's not afraid to push down because he has
Giving him
that
some
get out of
freedom,
jail
it's cool.
free. Wins the fights most of the time. Gate crashes after. Fnatic.
Yeah, it's a
another
good
pick.
KO
That's how
setup,
the captain
anti-KO
down
setup.
and
We've got
out.
double kill trips
Viper
over
wall
towards
no
here.
longer there to play with, and ult's not
Cross
gonna
map
recover
knife
yet
as
as
well
Jake
to see if anyone's
maybe-
close over towards site.
Maybe grab a little bit of
Yeah, and there's
information
one
to pick
trip
up
that
a
they
body,
found.
but
We got
even
another
then,
one.
You have to find the body first. Boaster spotted
Okay,
and
they
taken
found
down.
both of them.
Okay.
They didn't get a kill. It's a
Well, that's something to
3v5.
play with, but even
We have
still,
2 kill trips
dealing
at
with
the
all these
moment
players
into
is gonna be a
3v4.
different story entirely.
Durka's definitely going to try and take one
Uh-oh.
down. He loses the fight as well. Back-to-back individuals.
Doing a lot of individual stuff right
Nice
now.
trade from Alpha,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
all
may
good.
not matter in the end. It's going to be left all
All
on
good.
conceded, and Alpha's so quick with it.
Pretty back and
Again,
forth
got
the
a
whole
little
time.
bit dangerous, a little bit shaky for a second. But the rest of Fnatic steamroll on the retake. Bring it to within just 1. As I said, expectations for them have always been to have that better half over on the attack side. So this definitely isn't too worrying that the defense hasn't been the best. Even still though, for FUT, we normally give them the same credit. A lot of the time it is those attack sides where they thrive.
Well, history can be a great teacher, but it's hard to really derive anything about these teams from past matches, not least because of performances of other squads and hard
KO
to
to
gauge how they play,
cancel
but
the
you can
knives.
just look at Fnatic.
Get out of my
Last
Knife
map
as
was
well.
6-6.
Go
Close
for a
half.
flash in,
Ended up
lost the
dominating
timing
the
because of the
second half.
recon.
And no matter what game they're in, their second half seems to be that little bit better. It's worrying for FUT. with already a solid defensive stance. They now look towards
Well,
the
they
A-side
kind of knew this
aggression
instant reaction
on
was going to
Durka.
be
The
cool to
Viper's
go
pit
over
activated
towards
on
B.
This is one of my favorite setups.
So most
so
people, to
difficult
deal with
to
this,
break
they'll
through
just
this
go
because
up
Bosu
short
doesn't even
with
need
like
to be
3-2, and the
worried
drone
until
will
you
go
touch that trap.
towards... we still got drone? Oh, we have no drone.
Cam as well. So just watch for anybody coming in from behind. The Hunter's Fury being utilized, but
Yeah, walk to block off spawn though. Ned?
Cned's not connected. The shots even trying to hunt him down. Alpha though is now left alone on the side. The rotation finally coming in. The support finally available, but maybe he doesn't need it. First goes his way.
He did unreal though to get a kill. He made that doable.
Back into this 2 versus 2. Cned is still yet to claim a gun. Only playing with the Frenzy. The Bladestorm not having the success he was hoping for. And actually, they've got to be careful.
Whoa.
Chronicle is right on the edge of this corner, but he isn't going to peek it there. He goes first, not quite
10
the
HP?
same.
10 HP 1v2?
Just 10.
Surely not.
It would need to be an immediate headshot, and the time is in Durka's favor, but he's not quite in the right position.
What a shot from Durka. 6-6 in the end? This is nice.
And we'll go in level.
Just like the last map. First half is close, but can we really expect the same thing from the second?
How does Alpha live this long?
It
took so, like, the players were able to rotate all the way from A just because he was dancing around the site. And, okay, the impact may not have necessarily been there on the kills, but it's just the fact that they are spending all of that time hunting him down. They can't get into the post plant. They can't get into a position where Cned can even retrieve a gun, even though
Insane
they killed
round.
off
Dude,
a couple of other players.
Alpha did unreal.
Just a survivalist.
Yeah,
in
he
that site, and that's
literally
the
managed to
difference maker.
survive so long
Alongside
to
a
then
little
get a
bit of help
kill, and
from
then for his kill to then get
Durka on
traded
the
back
way.
of sight.
That was also after they evaded the main dangers of the round. The Viper's pit, the traps inside it, the cam up top. They're able to go through mid, take those
Alpha's
fights.
always the main danger.
That is true.
What the hell? What the hell is this flash from Chronicle?
1 HP. Let's see if that's still the case.
Oh, Bosu to pick up the first. Well, Cned, okay. I really didn't think he'd survive that long either, but dropped right after. Yedije onto Durka. Still Alpha sitting around the A site on a very, very late.
Alpha 1 HP.
He's cleared it entirely. They know there's a free plant awaiting them, and on 1 health, the head peak
Gonna
angle.
reposition
He
instantly.
dishes out that damage to Cracks, making this a pretty even fight. They have to be so cautious.
Oh man, so many
13
low
health on
HPs.
Cracks. Yedije on 82, but look how low the remaining Fnatic players are.
I'm surprised they even attempted to go through mid there. Now it comes down to Alpha, and he's going to get nothing. It was kind of expected with how low he was. Left onto Chronicle. Clutch scenario. We've hyped up his Sky when it comes to these moments, but the KO can be just as deadly. Has the knife, but using it here would be to his own peril. Would give up his position. And that's not the plan. The plan is to try and hit the shots. Now Cracks is the first point of contact. He's so desperately low. That one will be easy. The next one's a little bit tougher. Just trying to make things a little bit more awkward. And he's doing damage all the way down to low HP, but he's now onto that spike. Sticking it to half at least, but eventually he's going to have to get back on it. Yedije has connected the shots. Is there enough time?
Dude. His fair play, man. I thought when he got off that, he might have messed up, but he just had enough time.
And that is exactly it.
0.13.
Pistol round secured. Early aggression from Cned didn't find its result, nor did it for Durka. The duelist dealt with very early on. And it's this. If Alpha was just a second later, they would round it into his crosshair. But he starts to think they're moving towards double doors, that he needs to make that peak happen. 1 round in it after the pistol, but this is where the economic advantage swings firmly into FUT's hands. And
he broke the sound barrier. That's why we couldn't
It's
hear.
double pistol, right? It's 3 chat.
The Marshall buy
Where are
FUT,
we?
They love it. And on
Is
an
it
open map like Breeze,
where
makes
chat? Someone give me a pistol
Look at it.
update. I'm lost.
There's no approach you can take that isn't a
The best of
long-range duel.
the best of fives
Fnatic
throw me
have
off.
gone right down halls and met no resistance. Everything for FUT's defense around this part of the map.
I would
based on
say
this
it's
trap wire.
4-2,
Once
but
it's broken, we'll have to see them react without giving the pistols the advantage.
The problem is mainly going to be Mr. Farmer. This is not where you want this gun to be. I think he expected them to try and either go straight towards A
it is
or
4-2.
bypass
Okay.
through the spawn, but
We would have guessed right. I could have covered up.
instead they've gone right into him. Cracks. Again, he's going to be tagged down to just 5 HP. There are definitely opportunities now, especially with, okay, the Marshall's the first thing to go, but anything else, well, it's a 2K weapon or above.
Yeah, the damage starts to be considerable. They're not moving towards cracks, thankfully. Doesn't mean it's going to be any easier for these players. Yedeje took from the corner, out of captain further away. CNET covering the cross, but they're smoked off by the wall. Up close now, Yedeje's got the angle, then the swing from backside comes in. Not even needed. Yedeje's picking them all up, making it look easy. And Durka all the while was
no one,
hoping
I mean, no
someone
one's
would
to swing that,
into him.
yeah.
When they eventually do, he gets his back turned. 8 on the board for FUT, and a clean response.
Crash Hacker with the tier 1. Thank you very much for that, man. Appreciate you, dude.
From Fnatic.
Welcome into the Stock Club as well.
Play with the entirety of the team heading their way through the tube.
30 seconds left.
Well, a shot or two that could have turned this round into an incredibly costly one. Instead, Bulldogs, Outlaw, Marshall bought back up for Mr. Fallen, so it's not going to have too much of a cost detriment, but Fnatic will have the rifles. This is where they can really look to put themselves back onto the map. As whoever wins this one will be one away from making it to
Right here.
an all-important grand final versus Heretics.
It's split up next is FUT's map
Recon
pick.
goes middle, and they managed to get scans
So
off,
far
so
in
they
this
know the
series,
mid's
it has
pretty
not
much
mattered.
free.
Mine being their other pick, and well, you can see the scoreline in the top left of your screen. Fnatic this second half hasn't gotten off to as good of a start, but now the rifles come out. This is where the real danger is for FUT. Some control over halls. It's only the one man in Alpha here holding that down.
They do head over
Against
towards
Mr.
A
Fallen.
site.
Marsh.
Mr. Fallon has a recon to help his
CNET
team.
taking the outlaw. Pushed through double doors. About to be met
Recon
with a big
goes
challenge
out, but
from
it's
Krax
got
and CNET,
broken.
the first on the scene. One shot already expended on the decoy. Although the TP is going to be used to cancel out that push, they'll get
Shot,
a second
man.
chance at breathing in this round, but Alphier has been lost. The tube play now wide open.
Mad. Crack's almost acting as the bodyguard. He's not going to be able to find anything. CNET down. Swing out hasn't worked either. The Marshall
30
connecting
seconds
tags,
left.
but they're going to need a whole lot more if they're going to be able to win this one. No shot guards to
Spike planted.
be able to deny, and again, there's a player on 5 HP for the side of FUT. Always seemingly clinging to life. Again, around the look dangerous, but it's quickly diminished. I think Boaster may have just caught an angle onto Yedeje, and yeah, just at the last second, he spotted him out.
Well, low HP is 11,
Bad
14.
captain. They've got enough money to buy into the next
Fnatic will
round.
take
They
this.
do not have an issue of that, so if he can catch either of these low HP players, they could be quite happy. But it's not going to happen. Durka, clinical in the end, and Fnatic, again, just one away.
Well, that's the third round we wanted to see from Fnatic. Although this is interesting. The opening pick for CNET is good, but then he steps out in the open, unaware that they could have already walked out main. I think that's just the big gap in this defensive play after being pressured so heavily on doors. They got a little tunnel visioned in towards taking the fight below the tube. That won't be a mistake that we're likely to see again, though. And now, a bit of an upgrade. FUT have loved playing with the Outlaws, with the Marshals.
Cena gets the op out,
CNET,
and
defensive side
where is he?
operator.
They decide to go
This is
aggro over
where it
towards
gets
short. Knife goes in towards A, they spot
surprised
1,
that
but the
he's the one
late
with this and
knife
not Mr.
towards
Farm.
middle
No
hits
offense.
2, and it hits the Jet, so they either think
This is
hero
the
here.
truly terrifying part of this defensive side. So if this man gets going, he's difficult to stop. The fact is, though, Fnatic looking like
Yeah,
they're
and
about to pick up
Fnatic
the
are just
pace.
in
This
for
A side
the,
about to be under
what,
some
CNED's on
serious
B?
pressure.
Let's go A.
Drone didn't look down. It's left.
Um,
Okay, Krax. That was from back
Down
yellow,
A.
just a wild
that is
Same fight was heard.
straight through the wall
Being
before
deployed.
someone's
Durka knows
even
that even though they
pushed
didn't
the
see that
site.
player, there's one here. The comms are good, and out of Captain falls. Mr. Fallen in the same boat.
Spike
Peeked
planted.
out from downtown, and well, the tube control is still being held late in the round, but the timing terrible
Yeah, and
for
op
CNET.
to retake.
That
Bit of
pick
a
would
nightmare.
equalize
Nice.
things. Instead, the control maintained
Nice and
in
easy from
Fnatic's hands.
Fnatic there,
That
really.
player
Other
lurking
than
through
getting the
tube,
pass
they
and
had
shot
one
through the
double
wall.
doors, will now be backing off. Alfier taking his time, but the door's being closed on him. Still,
It's
for
just
FUT
the most
actually
simple
finding
way.
success
This
will be tough.
just
They
avoiding the
could've
op is
isolated
the one,
player
right?
on
It
site,
sucks
but that's
in
no longer
retake,
possible with the gate crash getting him out
and
of there. Post-plant
it's
utility on the way.
very hard
Alfier
to push
up
oppers off of
into-
angles.
So he opened the door. No one was looking at him. That's a big mistake.
Last player
And they bought enough
standing.
time at this point that there's no way FUT can get the defuse. Instead, they've got to hightail it out of here. CNET wanting to save this operator. A few of these players are going to go down to the spike, no? Oh, no, they're safe.
about.
Just about.
Yeah, a nice round from Fnatic. And again, I think a focal point of that is Alpha here. Like, you look at the players initially, Krax does well. He manages to get the opener. But
And a big part of this was honestly Chronicle
it just
just
becomes so
hitting
much
the knife.
more awkward for them to try and hold on. The player on site just gets almost left out to dry, and then you could see it's reactive from FUT. They're consistently trying to deal with this man in such an awkward position, and by the time CNED
a little bit wrecked from Tube, so maybe they want to fight Tube a little bit heavier at one point.
A lot of it as well is that same Viper screen we've seen many times from Bosa. He loves to put that straight through the stairs.
Eco, we just go for the fast B. Looking decent, no one over towards here.
Fight with the player on the site, and the same vice versa, creating duels for players like Durka.
The knife's landed, but there's no one there to catch it. Fnatic have already overrun the site. And, well, a little peek out of Mr. Fallen comes at a heavy cost, losing his life. Operator for CNED is basically the only chance for this squad, and it's just being dropped cleanly. Funny that Durka spots the off, and the call from Leo is, I'm going to peek him. Shock Dart didn't even get to explode on time. Durka was way ahead of it.
The gray rounds. I mean, these guys didn't even take damage.
But up against these weaker weapons, that's what's expected. The lead.
The timeout, yeah, they might have to.
9 to 8.
I mean, can they even afford the op?
To that 13th
I think
round
so.
on their map pick.
And I think we might be about to see a pause of sorts, because I'll be honest with you, I think these last few rounds have been telling for the side of FUT. Like, this is where Fnatic truly are thriving on that attack. I think
Someone save for it? Yeah, maybe.
From Dirk has been good. As said, the lurks and the tube play from Alpha.
It's a win condition, but
has definitely been problematic. And they haven't really found a way to deal with it just yet. I wonder if they're going to try and take that spot away from them. That was something that Fnatic had to do themselves. You saw Durka play versus Mr. Fallen, but they were having
doesn't look like it. No one's got enough for him to get the op out.
That defense wasn't able to claim the control, whereas on the other side of things, they have to be actively stopping him from getting to the door.
They got to talk about Tube, I think. I would not be surprised if they walk down Tube or had something aggro over towards Tube.
In those is pretty high. Yeah, take a good swing at it, and then move in for the break when you need it. For FUT, you can see guys is rattling off commands on how they can patch up this play, but we've only seen the start of Fnatic's attacking side. So much more can be done by Durka, and so much more will be done by Durka based on what we've seen in the past. The Hulk's control, Tube control when it came down to that defensive side wasn't even on the level that we've seen it before, but I do wonder if an element of that is the fact that there's so much tape on it out there. If you keep running the same sort of aggressive plays, your opponents are going to be ready at a certain point, especially coming into a BO5. I'll have looked at it.
Early knife from Krax.
I mean, knife hits 3. That gives him a lot of info.
At least for the early round, we're over on that side.
Mr. Fallon is in the spot to drone this, right? He goes aggro so the drone can clear the corner. Also wanting to punish, so it's... He has multiple options at the moment. It's door opens, he can insta-swing, right, where they're focusing over towards site. And at one point, if he hears no sound as well, he can drone and clear the corner. So that's their version of being able to punish this, just playing a little bit passive.
It's much more passive.
And let's see, because this guy's going to open the door. Does Mr. Fallon get him before he TPs?
Gamble any of their rotations. Durka doing exactly what we've seen. Timing, though, shouldn't be great for him. There's a player right behind Mr.
Yeah, there's a nice punish. And over towards B, we have playing far back from the Viper, so Viper can get a molly off before it gets hit.
Didn't seem like a connect. Must have been just
it's a nice setup from FUT. That's a great shot, bro. That is a huge round. This is a really cool, this was cool though. Everything was really good, right? To punish over towards Tube was nice. We had the Viper playing far back because of the KO with a molly in hand. So as soon as the KO goes out, you're just out of range, so you can molly over towards B. And that means that the split is a little bit off in terms of timing, so Cena can focus over towards short. And dude, what a shot he hit.
That quick rotation back towards the B site. Oh, wow. CNED just doing CNED things. Yeah, sure, some decent supportive utility in the end, but as you said,
of course, Brent, thank you so much, man. In bet, dude.
It's been a back and forth, that's for sure. Especially with the maps that FUT have managed, or the map that FUT has managed to win. Even still, They may have taken the wind out of the sails for Fnatic, but I was going to say it could get going again.
Bro,
Durka
anyone
dead
running
immediately
up
for the
short
second
is
round
getting
in a row.
one-tapped.
Easy breezy for FUT so far. Opening pick onto Durka is clean. Hunter's Fury activated, but good movement by Ada Captain. Dip, duck, and dodging his way out of those angles and even catching them.
Yeah, and that wasn't the person that got the kill, so they know one more is out.
For Chronicle. He can breathe.
Mr. Fallon has a
At least
recon if he
few
wants to
more
help his
breaths, but
teammate
Ada
out.
Captain's on the rotate around. He wants to find him. Viper wall up, Viper wall down, and all the while just baiting them. These players in towards middle, in towards the back of sight, just want to buy time.
Yeah, just
So
making
CNET,
sure they're acting
onside
big
cracks,
for this
the
flank.
easiest kills of their lives.
Really
Players
sick round from
looking
them.
the other
Ever since the
way.
timeout, been looking
Double
good.
digits for FUT.
Dude, Atta hit such
Now
a shot as
Fnatic
well.
are the ones that have to come back into it.
Yeah, for other teams, going up to behind people might be a problem, but we witnessed it many a time for CNED. Easy pickings. But this is the round for Ada Captain. Immediately takes out Durka. He was setting up utility to try and cause issues into the site.
Atta did Unreal as well. It wasn't just the shot, it was the instant reposition as soon as he saw the ult. He got tagged by the drone, and then he fakes running back, and then he was ready to tank, or he at least timed the nade really well.
10 to 9. A back and forth
His
map,
movement
a
was
close
good as well.
one at that. This is the pick of Fnatic, and honestly, this map
Cage
was
goes
the
in
one,
early to see if
maybe
anyone
alongside
pushes, and
Split,
then they
that I
got
was
a trip to see if
expecting
anyone
to be
pushes
most
deep.
favoured.
Cena close enough to hear
one
that,
team or the
so
other.
if they have some kind of info on when
Last
Cypher
time
defaults
Fnatic
over
played
towards
against
A,
FUT
they
on
might
Split,
work out
they
the
lost
setup.
13-7, which is
This
not
has
a
just
great
been
sign if they're
Mr.
gonna let
Fallon
this one slip as well.
Perma playing here at the moment,
Even still,
just wanting to punish
they have a
the
buy. They have a Viper's Pit.
opening of the door every time.
But if they were to head towards that B site, they'd have both Viper and
Wait,
Cypher
that's
to deal
so
with
sick.
again.
He knifes close to see if this guy's lurking in the corner. That's the only place it
This
gets.
doesn't seem to be leaning that way. Problem is, on this side, they're going to have
And so they know that Alpha's in tube. So instead of using the drone that would normally clear this, they don't have to, and they get info on Alpha.
He's seen him. He knows that he can just give that up. The trap destroyed, and they move back towards the site. Push coming up through mid.
Bro,
Nice
Mr. Fallon's
point.
dominating
On its way,
tube
leading
ever
the
since I
charge.
said they were struggling,
It's
and that
caught
timeout
from
came in.
Now Durka's here to follow up on it alongside Boaster. Good headshot from Durka. TP back for the main play. They caught Chronicle at least. Nice shot by Mr. Fallen. The
Shots could be
shotgun
good.
now, very threatening. Bring you right down to your last sliver of health.
Take watching here.
Hasn't quite landed.
Yeah,
for
Krax is in
Leo.
a
He's
really
dodged
rough
it.
spot at the
Plan
moment.
coming
Good
through
news
with
for
his
him is
cover.
he has this
Still
trip,
managed
so he
to
doesn't
clear
have to
Krax. I don't know how
overextend.
he's
He should
managed
just
to
stay
survive
alive
this
here the whole
long.
time,
He's
because he can
been
get a kill off
surrounded
of the
for
trip.
majority of the
Just
round.
hold door.
Boaster, though, will remove Mr. Fallen. Durka takes down Krax at that, leaving just 2 players standing.
When he goes to a
The
position they
B-side
just
rotators.
cleared.
Again, Durka's going to reposition back towards main. He might be the first point of contact, or wait for a little bit more information. Leo on the site is not giving anything away, and I think Durka may have just spotted his opponent. That's going to be the kill, just a second too late for Yedajay. And now, with no utility remaining, he needs to try and isolate both
He
of
threw
these
a
players.
pistol out.
Durka just looking to bait him, remove that clock from
remaining.
Yeah,
any
time's
further
gone.
problems, and while it's already going to be done, the round is over. Both of them just looking to try and escape, and well, only
Nice
one
round
of
from
them can.
Fnatic. Krax was in a rough position, really. I still, I
Right
mean,
back to neck and
still
neck.
like the changes that FUT are doing, but
I am
A
surprised Krax
just
was able
feels
to
like
hold
it's
on for
getting
dear
wrecked
life
from
on
A
that
main.
site for this long. They came up through mid, they tried to challenge him. But he had those safer angles, I guess Mr. Fallen as well, providing that bit of cover, laying down his life for the info on Boaster's run up through the double doors.
But the thing is, what I really like the adaptations we're seeing from FUT. The fact that Mr. Fallen twice now, actually no, I think 3 times, has actually shut down that tube player. He's been waiting, whether it was Durka or Alpha, just because that was their biggest issue, the player opening the door. But then Fnatic had the double mid play, and it was just Durka repositioning over and over again that eventually allowed them to have a plan, allowed them to get into an advantageous position for this round. The defense looking like they have a little bit of a bait and switch on A.
get over
again.
towards side, they got a
It's gonna
Viper.
be CNED in the back corner.
Mr. Fallon, again, ever
Krax
since
same
that
spot as
timeout,
contact,
it
but
is,
by the looks of
we
things,
have to heavy hold tube.
dimensional drift, and
Mr. Fallon's been
Durka setting
here
up
or
some
here.
U2. I think they're
The
going
first time
straight
he's used
to
this
B.
one.
Oh yeah.
Your ult
Late
goes in,
mid play as well with Boaster
Yetijay is a
grabbing info.
little bit on his own. They
Spotted
might have
one.
messed up here.
And he's tempted. I think a flash is going to be committed, although he decides not to complete
Oh.
the ultimate until a little bit later. Decoy on its way. Yedijay's ready for it though. The cam has spotted him out. Beautiful shot from Yedijay.
He did fantastic though. Against the Yoru ult to get one like this is huge. That shock should kill. Oh, 9. That'll do it. Wait, they're gonna reset. Oh, someone from Fnatic needs to go huge. Oh boy, they're in trouble. They're in big trouble. Leo is the only person that can buy. Should be 12.
Another round where you see the success of this B-site defense, even with knowing the position of Yedijay, even when he's hit by a vulnerable as well off the snake bite, even when they send out the fake out, he's just so confident to try and avoid some of those battles. And then in that time,
my God, that shot on top of it.
Battling for mid, removing the lurk of Boaster, removing the players as they attempt to rotate. Fnatic now need themselves another pause.
I don't know what they're going to do in this one. They've got most of them average around 2,200.
They have already beaten Fnatic earlier in the season, fairly confidently at that, a map that they've looked good on in general. Sure, they had the loss to Heretics, but that was in Giga overtime. Other than that, they've destroyed Fnatic, Liquid, and Giant X already this season.
Names under their belt, good success along the way. This has been a back and forth battle. Look at that timeline. As we come into 11 to 10, the ulti's in play.
Breeze, it's been looking hit or miss.
Be a tough one to deal with, but I don't know, Tom. I look at CNED with a Blade Storm. I look at how FUT have approached.
What would you do with the small guns here? That's the thing. You gotta take close range. I would send 3 Tube maybe with how he's been fighting Tube. Try and get the gun. Fall back. I think I would just heavy focus on Tube. Take A control. 3-person Tube. Try duel him.
And now they don't have any cash to play within this round. You're looking at Leo, the only player with a gun.
Hope he doesn't duel.
Again, this has been one of
What do they
gaps.
got? Guardian? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Completely unaware. And nobody even looking in that direction. That's a huge mistake in the beginning of this round already.
It could become very costly if boots go on the ground. Oh, Alpha Year in the corner.
And he's just ready for a punish because he knows they've been told to punish over towards door.
Looks tempting now. If it's activated, and it is, this defuse
A
will be
lovely
very
Viper.
difficult
This
indeed.
is a giant round. How many guns did they pick up? None so far.
To go back through this pit, and with the pistols, this is the best possible scenario. Question is, can Cena deal with him? And he's almost been dealt with himself. Durka only has a classic, but he nearly wins that duel, and Cena is sent running in the other direction. A reveal now in play. That ultimate will not allow them to drop the pit. It will instead leave them fighting the back of yellow, taking down players as they go.
Boss has probably owned it though, right?
Away. Someone needs to get close and get
shot.
Oh, this spike. Well handled.
Yeah, times is too low. Both double molly.
Snake bite thrown in from afar. Boaster firing through, and he's got Yedijay. A perfect snake
That
bite.
giant round. Hero Guardian. They found the gap. And they punish the fact that they can get over towards door fast. They go so much faster on this one, not even expecting it. And then the guy who's opening door in Tube is just so aware that they're going to punish him. Throws double cage, right? Once he opened the door, double cage, so he's just in charge of getting 1 kill once they try and punish him. There's a lovely timeout into that. Really, really cool. It's impressive.
There wasn't a lot that could be done to clear him out without a flank. The time was bought by the rest of the team, but the round was won by Boaster.
They're furious, dude.
11 to 11. With weak weapons, weak finances, and
it looks like they have a bit of read to this, what they like to do with the Viper ult, because this is the first time we cage here, we trip, we actually go into the safe spot.
A couple of ultimates to play with, and a purchase into this round.
Interesting position from Alpha. You might think they could walk through and take the spike, but of course...
Money would be crazy low if they lost it.
If there's any deep aggression from this FUT side. An incredible round for Fnatic to...
It would pretty much be a similar buy to the round prior to this, if Fnatic lost this round.
2 more rounds for either team to lock us in to split with a 2-1 scoreline. Otherwise, we're going all the way to an overtime. So we're Fnatic are more than familiar.
It's funny, this is what I would have done on the Eco run.
Even outside of Lotus. Maybe we're set. of the same course. Viper's Pit was used by Attic Captain instead. Fnatic will not be going through a main. They'll look to take things through the open door that's now standing. Cracks only defending. Mr. Fallen drops Alpha yet. Good flash. Great response. Chronicles down, and the herd's already been thinned.
Yeah, they got 20 seconds as well. They're going to have to get onto the site and fast. Durka, Boaster, make that Leo as well. Out of very little, Fnatic have managed to.
They know that this guy's here, but he drops the ult to try and pretend that he's not here, but the
Captain's dropped his pit. They know exactly where he is as well.
your ult goes in.
To get his ult online, they're throwing util directly into his face. The only danger, the only unknown quantity is going to be Yedajay. He's sneaking his way through, but their plan is to try and isolate the other.
He's so dead. Leo gets killed.
Walking his way out, he'll go straight
Right,
into
one.
the hands of Leo. And from a damning position, or so it seemed with 20 seconds, Fnatic will be the ones to get to map point.
One more round. And they come in with 3 ultimates to work with as well. This started out so poorly. Mr. Fallen and Cracks tore them to shreds. And then everybody steps it up. Leo lurking up through the halls.
Yeah, I mean, Cnet's just not ready for the extra pass in there. It's just such a mix-up. Every time they've been putting one over towards Tube, so when he goes to swing here, once there's been duels, he's literally not even expecting the off angle.
Geist has got to be close to an aneurysm at this point.
Oh, look at this. We've seen Tube.
Do they go fast to Tube again?
Many a time. Spam does quite a lot of damage.
This one guy in sight is in a lot of trouble.
Throw everything at their opponents as they make their way into the site, but it hasn't been as successful as maybe they would have hoped. Haven't managed to find the open, or at least they hadn't. First one goes their way, but it's an immediate trade.
I seem more than aware where Boaster is, but he's got backup. That they might not know. Looks like no further commitment to take him down.
Ooh.
They move instead towards the site, losing CNET along the way.
Oh god, I'm not sure you should be getting that kill as well.
Just in time.
Respect.
Everyone's low, or so many of them are. 15 health on Alpha here. 73 on Boaster, but he's got the flank, the positioning, absolutely perfect. And Fnatic, well, it looked like they were down and out at a point, like FUT had them. But it looks like the old Kings are hungry.
Hey, big from them. Ed lost double pistol on this as well.
Map number 3. They could close
Big
this
win.
on Split.
Definitely better on that map if you lose double pistol.
Potentially, if they're able to take
Shout out
it.
to the
So much more to
coaches
go,
or
still the potential
potentially
the whole
Boaster
time.
win the timeout.
Don't need to
Whoever
make
called
back
that,
their choice.
whoever
We'll see if
started
they can
going
do it
tube heavy in the
after
timeout
break.
and called the eco round as a god, man, that was big.